Man, the force is strong with this one.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a lot different on this channel, but still music related. I have a storage closet in my studio area that's full of Star Wars stuff. I grew up, I was 7 years old and watched Star Wars in the movie theater with my parents. My dad actually fell asleep, which I think is hilarious, but that's aging myself. So I grew up a Star Wars fan. And anyway, I've got a storage closet in my studio that's full of Star Wars stuff that were my sons when they were very young, because I wanted them to relive my childhood. And that was right around the time where the prequels had come out. They had been out for a while, and I got a bunch of those action figures and a bunch of the old stuff. And I've just accumulated this stuff from my childhood and my son's childhood. And for some reason, it's being stored in this closet in my studio, and I need space for my guitar cases. So I've got the dumbest setup you could possibly want for storage for my guitar cases, and I'm tired of it. So we're gonna clean out this closet today, and I'm gonna show you my Star Wars stuff. I not only collect guitars, I guess you could say I'm a collector of Star Wars memorabilia, even though I haven't collected Star Wars stuff since my sons were really tiny, and now they're both, in their early and mid 20s. So Star Wars really hasn't been on my radar for a long time. It's kind of interesting, we'll talk about it real quick, but growing up in the 80s and 70s also, there were a few things in my childhood that I'm very grateful to have lived through, and many of you watching this video could relate. And I'd love to hear in the comments below some of the things that truly impacted your childhood from a pop culture standpoint. But Star Wars is definitely probably one of the biggest things for me. Kiss, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the whole Indiana Jones thing, the Spielberg movies, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and E.T., iconic movies like that. Just growing up with stuff. Friday the 13th series, Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that, just really shaped my childhood. And I look back at those times and think, gosh, I was so lucky to have experienced that stuff, and so fortunate. But anyway, Star Wars being probably the biggest impact on my life as a young child, before I discovered music, and then when music hit, obviously it was the Beatles, because I grew up in a family with a lot older brothers and sisters than myself, and a lot significantly older parents. So I got a lot of old records and music. So my tastes are all over the place. But the Beatles and the Beach Boys, the Cars, ZZ Top, Foreigner, Cheap Trick, all that stuff from the 80s, even some disco and funk and things like that from the 70s into the 80s, and the hard rock and the metal, and of course Van Halen, the mighty EVH, right? So anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at this closet. And I've got, for some reason, I've even got like a piece of furniture in there that holds DVDs and books. I'm like, it's the dumbest setup, and it is high time for me to get some organization in my life and figure out what to do with these freaking cases, and put some of this stuff somewhere else. I might sell it. I have no idea what this stuff is worth. I hate selling my childhood, but comes a time where you got to get rid of stuff. But anyway, let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with today. Here is a little cabinet that I've got some music-related books, parts and pieces, and some DVDs in it. There's some trumpet cases on here. My youngest son, is a trumpet player, and he majored in trumpet, so I've got about 10 trumpets laying around the house. But in the closet, I've got a couple cases, old cases of his. But here are just cases randomly thrown in here. This is just haphazard. I've got some hard cases over here, but the bad thing is up here on the top of this storage area, I've got all this Star Wars stuff that's just been crammed up here. It's been up here for years in this storage area, and I just have to get this stuff out and situate it. So I'm going to clear all this out. I'm going to put some cases up here and remove this thing. I just have to get this out. This is the dumbest setup. I never really intended on this being a case storage area, but it's turned into it over time. I think we're all guilty of doing stuff like that and just letting stuff kind of slide. So let's pull out the Star Wars stuff. May the Force be with us. Okay, let me see if I can sit down among all this stuff without destroying anything, including myself. All right, cool. Hey everybody, we are now surrounded by all this Star Wars stuff, so let's take a look at it a little bit in more detail, okay? So a lot of this stuff, I can't even remember what the name of it is because, you know, it was so long ago. But this is a repop, like in the late 90s, early 90s, late 90s, they repopped a lot of Star Wars stuff when the Phantom Menace came out and the prequels. So this is a repop Darth Vader TIE Fighter. I think it's pretty cool. But you know, you can find that stuff used quite cheap. And I just loaded my sons up. My sons were born in the early 2000s, so by then this stuff was kind of cheap. A lot of people weren't collecting Star Wars stuff. It kind of went out of style for a while. Anyway, this is a case, a Millennium Falcon case for action figures. I'm going to go through this stuff kind of quick. This is a repop X-Wing fighter. Check that out. That's kind of cool. It doesn't open up. Neat. I think everybody's got some lightsabers around the house. This is one of those things the stormtroopers rode on Tatooine. This one is, I think this one's original. I think this, can't remember what these guys are called. Were they called a Banta or something, or a Wampa? I don't remember. But this dude's original, I do believe. This is an original troop transport that I got when I was like 10 years old, 9 years old. It's missing the door. This thing has seen a lot of battle. If you put batteries in it, these buttons actually say stuff like, there's one set for stun, and that kind of thing. But this was a cool troop transport. That was about all my mom could afford to buy me and a few stormtroopers back when I was 9 years old. I loved it. I think that's why I wanted to buy all this stuff for my sons, because I wanted to get them stuff I never had a chance to get. Now this is a repop, late 90s, maybe 99, 98, 2000 Millennium Falcon. It's got some crayon marks on it. But this is cool because you can play with it. Here I am sounding like a total geek. And looks like from probably 17 years ago, my sons were still playing in this. I've got like a little Jawa dude there and a little Chewbacca. Check it out, there's a Luke Skywalker in a Stormtrooper outfit. These mini Star Wars guys came with the Legos kits, I believe, that I've got here. There's a sand person. They got the whole hee-haw gang in here. Let's see, there's a mini Luke with a lightsaber. There's Han Solo. And They got half of a droid, one of those droids from Phantom Menace in there. But this thing's all intact. Oh, there's the droid leg. Something happened to this guy, man. They annihilated that dude. This ship is cool. It doesn't have batteries in it, but there are some buttons on the side of it that you can press, and the back of it lights up blue and it makes the hyperspeed sound. This is in nice shape. Even though it's a repop, this thing's probably, I don't know, it's probably worth, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks maybe. Who knows, maybe more. If any Star Wars fans are on here, collectors, tell me. This is an original snow, I forget what they call it. It was the Rebel, it was like the TIE Fighter or the X-Wings, but it was what they used on Hoth when they were battling the AT-ATs, I do believe. That little screen comes out of there, that little the little windshield. It's got one of the Phantom Menace droids flying it. He's in the front, and there's another one in the back. Who knows what my sons were doing at that time? They didn't care, man. They were just having a good time. All right, and then this is an original Slave 1 that Boba Fett. This is Boba Fett's ship. This thing's in bad shape. Obviously, it's missing this front piece. It's missing, like, I guess these were the guns. But I think I found this at a yard sale. I'm like, man, I'll take it. What the heck? This is a very poor condition Millennium Falcon. I believe this one, I think this one's the original, I believe. This one sets up a lot taller than the repop. This one's got the little, I don't know if this one's original or not. No, I don't think so. Who knows? But this one I found, I think, at a yard sale also. Someone gave that to me, so I was like, I'll take it. Whatever. Now this is, they had like mini Star Wars toys. They were like, I don't think they were Legos, but they were like mini Star Wars toys that were really cute. And this one takes batteries, and this one's in excellent shape. This Millennium Falcon. My sons love the little micro toys. It's got the little ramp you go up, and that's what I was actually kind of pleased to see, that these little Star Wars guys, like the little Darth Vader and or the little Chewbacca and Stormtroopers, these guys go with the miniature ships. All right, so I've got all those dudes that come with it. One nice thing about these is they were very sturdy. I think they were built really sturdy, so kids couldn't break them. The original Star Wars stuff is kind of, breaks easy. This is one of those little micro mini X-Wings. So evidently I bought a lot of those. Here is A-Wing, I guess. It's missing the big wings on the side of it. This is a repop, I think, from Phantom Menace era. I don't remember what ship this was, but this one's kind of cool. That one looks to be all intact with the landing gear and stuff. Neat. This is probably the flimsiest piece of Star Wars equipment I own. This is a chicken walker. This thing is a, one of those little walkers that were on like Andor, I think, where the Ewoks were. I think that's what the Ewok planet was. It's missing the little fold-out thing, and this leg has seen better days. But that chicken walker was like, I think that was one of my son's favorite toys. They love the chicken walkers. Boba Fett bobblehead. Here is a small version of the Slave 1. Boba Fett ship does not take an action figure. I don't think it opens up. Looks like it's missing the bottom of it, because there's like some indentations of like dudes on the bottom. Yeah, I guess it is missing a bottom. Who knows? That was so long ago. Here's another Slave 1. Big Boba Fett fan, right? Boba's cool. All right, here is Here's a C-3PO and a Stormtrooper. Those dudes are cool. And this is, I guess, kind of like a little land speeder. I got 2 of them. Stormtroopers would ride around on. I think that's Phantom Menace era. Here is a metal X-Wing. It's only got one gun on it. This would have been a choking hazard. I can't believe they allowed this thing to be released. These things come right off, so it's no wonder it's missing, but it opens up somewhere. I've probably got these pieces. But, you know, it is what it is. Here's another Boba Fett dude. Here is this guy. I don't even know what this guy's name is. He's kind of nasty looking. This is an original land speeder. Luke Skywalker's land speeder. This is an OG land speeder. This thing is cool. Yeah, that dates back to I don't know. Well, you know what? Well, shoot. It says copyright 95 Lucasfilm. Maybe they redid their copyrights, but this looks just like the original land speeders. I remember playing with these when I was little. So maybe they just redid the copyrights on them or reissued them. Now, I know this one is an original Star Destroyer. I got this thing when I was like 11. I still have it. Somehow it's the top of it, the antenna thing is broken on it. When you give stuff to your kids, you know, that's what happens. They sold these little micro action figures, and I've got the micro guys somewhere in a box at my house. I have 3 of these. There's one that looks like Darth Vader and one that looks like C-3PO, and I think one that looks like Yoda, and they all came with different play sets. You could play with them, but man, these little guys were small. It's no wonder they're not in there. Here's a big A-wing. This thing looks almost fully intact. Yeah, I guess it is fully intact A-wing. I believe that's late 90s junk. And I do believe this AT-AT is also a 90s AT-AT. A good condition AT-AT from the original Star Wars goes for about $450, I think, $500. But this one's, everything's intact with this one. It's got everything. Well, it's missing the gun, side gun on the head. That broke off. Bummer. I thought that was all intact. Stand up, boy. These are cool, but it's like once you buy them, it's like, what do you do with them? Can't really play with them. This is a big Darth Vader. I like that guy though. And then my big Stormtrooper. I should put those out for Halloween. Put them out on the front step. They probably get stolen. This was a game. It is a game, I should say, the Jedi Master game, and it's all here. And it's a challenging game. I've probably played this game 1,000 times, and I've played it so many times I still remember how to play it. So if anybody ever wants to come over and play Yoda the Jedi Master game, I'll be glad to challenge you in that. This is we're getting down to the end of it all, actually. This is I bought this in like the early 2000s at Media Play. Anybody remember what Media Play was? But this is a actual working R2-D2. You can put like a can of Coke or something in here. And it takes 2 or 3 AA batteries. And it rolls around the house, and you can talk to it and give it orders. You can tell it to go on patrol. It'll go around the house and patrol stuff. His head spins around. He whistles. You can say play message or play recording, and he plays the Princess Leia recording. You ask him to dance. He does like a little happy dance with the Star Wars theme music. If you ask him if he remembers Luke Skywalker, he gets all affectionate. Makes a cooing noise. If you say, do you remember Darth Vader, he gets all scared and then makes a scared noise. And if you ask him to dance, he dances really, he's sad. It makes him sad. It's funny, man. That thing's cool. It's discolored. It used to be really white, but it's changed colors over the years. and it still works. I've got the box for it as well. This is a case for action figures. For some reason, my sons have decided to put a bunch of stormtroopers in here and snow troopers. Looks like I've got about 6 or 7 snow troopers. I've got maybe 2 or 3 stormtroopers. Here's a repop Chewbacca, but all the other figures are original. There's a medical droid from Return of the Jedi. There is a repop Darth Vader with his lightsaber. So it looks like they were planning on capturing Chewbacca the last time my sons played with this, which does not surprise me. My sons always leaned a little bit towards the dark side, just like me. Just kidding. I'm a big Han Solo guy, although I do love the Empire. These are, this is my original space case from the late 70s. So, you know, this was the budget case you got when you were poor, but it did the job. And these are a collection of repop action figures and my original action figures. For instance, original figures include Hoth, Princess Leia, another snowtrooper, got a sand person without his equipment. Look at this guy, man. This is like, was my very first stormtrooper ever. I remember playing with this guy so much, he just turned, he doesn't even, he's just like floppy. But I do know that was my very first action figure. That's crazy that I still have that. There's Luke from either Hoth or Return of the Jedi. There's an original Obi-Wan. Sadly, I don't have any of the original guns and stuff with these guys. Here is a R2. It's a cool old R2. There's Walrus Man. Darth Vader without his head with some model glue stuck on his neck, trying to glue his head back on. Of course, he has no cape. There's Hoth, Han Solo, and another sand person. Hey, I got a Jawa with a robe. This is an original Jawa with his robe. Sweet, I love Jawas, man. I got another Jawa sitting on my Mac where my Pro Tools is set up in my studio. Why, I don't know. I just think that's funny. The second layer here, we've got a mixture of a couple repop figures, like some Darth Vaders that aren't original. There's some kind of TIE fighter guy. There's a Darth Maul. There is a repop R2. There is an original R2. Wow, he is super shiny. That's awesome. There's an original droid. I think he was on the Jawa thing. Look at this. This is from Phantom Menace, I believe. There is a Phantom Menace Han Solo, or not, a repop Han Solo. There's a Cloud City Jedi, Return of the Jedi Han Solo. There's a Death Star dude. Looks like Dark Helmet. There's another Darth Maul. Oh, Hammerhead. Who didn't have Hammerhead in their collection? And of course, C-3PO. Sweet. I've got one more case of action figures left. And this brings back good memories. I'm glad I cleaned out this closet. I haven't looked at this stuff in, man, so long. Good memories. God, I gotta move all these stormtroopers and stuff out of the way to get to this case. All right, and here, this space case, man, this thing is full of stuff. Looks like mostly original things, although that's Phantom Menace. Look at this little Ewok guy. I got an Ewok in here. I got a Cloud City. I think there's a Bespin guard. Another sand person. Repops R2. There's another Ewok. That's a Return of the Jedi guard. I think that's a guard from Andor. Oh man, Han Solo lost his head. That's an original Han Solo. That's too bad. This is a Star Wars Han Solo. Makes me sad. There is a Jawa. When you have kids and you let them play with your stuff, you just gotta, you know, deal with it. There's a Master Chief. Look at this. This is from Jabba's palace. I can't remember what this pig-looking guy was called. I have an Indiana Jones with a crystal skull. I don't even remember buying that guy. Oh, there's the mini Darth Vader. There is a Jawa. Lando is missing his head. Man, I got a lot of headless dudes. I gotta have a talk with my sons. There's a Bosk. He's a bounty hunter. Snow Trooper. A Repop Stormtrooper. R5D4, I believe, was this dude's name. There is an original, very original Boba Fett. Another Snow Trooper. Another Ewok. Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. IG-88, I think was the name of this. Bounty hunter. I love stormtroopers, man. I've got so many stormtroopers. There's a Luke from Hoth. There's a AT-AT. I thought the AT-AT drivers were cool looking. There's a Repop Princess Leia. Another discolored stormtrooper. There is a sand person without a head, and he's got some burn marks on him, so that means back in the 70s I put some firecrackers in this guy's hands. This is one of the Death Star droids. This guy was kind of mean. That's original. I remember that was one of my first figures. There's like a little squeezy Jawa toy. That's cool. And then Snaggletooth, I think was the name of this guy. He was also a bounty hunter, I want to say. Alright, cool. Well, that's pretty much it. I have a few other Star Wars odds and ends that show up from time to time in my garage at the house, but my closet is cleaned out, so let me get my cases sorted in there, and that's the mission here that we're on today. So let me do that, and then I'll show you my finished product and hopefully have some organization in this storage closet where I keep my cases. Cool. Okay, so I finally got some organization in my life. I've got most of my cases in here. This is the primary stuff that I use all the time. And my gig bags up top where the Star Wars stuff used to be. I still got plenty of room for gig bags for future storage, so that'll be cool. And I do have more room down here for some more cases. You're probably thinking, how many guitars do you need? I need a lot more, man. I need a lot more, so I need to clear this space out. So yeah, much happier. Doesn't it make you feel good in life when you finally get organized and you get things situated, and it just makes you feel better about yourself, and I don't know, I think it kind of inspires me. So usually you do this in the spring, but this is my fall cleaning. Okay, so there you have it. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today while I organize my storage area for my cases in my studio and allow me to take a look at my old Star Wars stuff with you today. I know it's a little bit different content, but you know, it's fun and I enjoy this kind of stuff, so I just figured I'd share it with everybody on the channel. It was quite a trip down memory lane to visit all this stuff and take a look at it. You know, it brings back a lot of memories, not only from my childhood, but when I had my sons when they were really young. That's the great thing about being a parent, is you get to live through your children, man. You get to relive your what am I trying to say? You get to relive your youth, right? So having said that, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, comment below, and I think I'm going to go play with my action figures.